Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Tonitto. So Lee came back a few weeks ago, and she is currently the CEO of the Australian Council of Professions. Today, we're going to be chatting more about the CEO side of things, so hold tight for that. So since 2014, Lee, you've sat as CEO of two major organisations, so I'm sure you've overseen many a project. Could you give us one project highlight for you and why you liked it so much?
Yes, what I'd like to do, Hannah, is take a bit of a career perspective. And so a project highlight for me was leading the development of the AMP Financial Planning Academy, known at the time as Horizons. And that is really important for three reasons. First of all, in terms of financial advisor career development, it changed the way financial advisors in Australia were sourced and attracted, educated, and also employed. Second of all, the design of the business model, that is the outcome of the project, was not able to be replicated by the big four banks. It still exists today. It was unique because it had a very clear competitive advantage. Finally, the third point is that it generated over 100 million in shareholder value for AMP at the time and continues to exist today. And so it's not often in your life that you have the opportunity to create with a great team and deliver something that will be your legacy.
Wow, that's enormous. My goodness. So currently at the CEO level, what are some issues or challenges with projects that you find arise repeatedly?
Yes, I think that a lot of people, whether you're a CEO or not, might find these issues common. And so poorly defined objectives, unrealistic deadlines, scope creep, my personal dislike, and also miscommunication.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what do you think is necessary to overcome those challenges?
Yes, I think what I'd like to focus on, Hannah, is the final one, miscommunication, because I think with good communication, some of those others can be addressed. And communication for me is at a couple of levels. First of all, with your team. I've always taken on what's called wicked strategic problems. So they're challenging assignments and tough, that really require great communication with your team ongoing, because the projects tend to be a bit iterative. They're not, here's a set of requirements and go off and deliver them. Some of the requirements can be emergent. And then as we learn going through the project, sometimes the requirement changes. And so it's really important that the team has a good communication system, because they can voice their concerns, they can celebrate the wins, they can come with fresh ideas to deal with any of the obstacles that come up. And also, if there is a change, whether that be in requirements or funding, it minimises confusion, Chinese whispers, and everybody can articulate the way forward. And so communication is really important at the team level. And similarly, in my experience with communicating with stakeholders, having a strong communication system is really critical. And the first step with that is understanding, how does the client want to be communicated with? And everybody has different preferences. Some people want, the frequency can change, whether it be daily or they want monthly steering committee meetings. The format, whether they like emails, do they like face-to-face, do they like a written report, do they like their reports written so that they can give them to their MD? All of the nuances of the relationship, particularly of a program director and client, are really critical, because that's perceived as meeting a need of that client. Because you want to make sure not only is the project delivered, but also that with their stakeholder group, that you're supporting them and in their organisation to get the job done. And sometimes perception can be stronger than reality. And so communication between all the parties is really important to make sure that it's what you're doing is perceived as success.
Great. Yeah, you'd think that like these things are common sense, but you're right, like perception is not always reality. So yeah.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're working with people. So, yeah, everyone's got their preferences and strengths and weaknesses. Thanks so much, Lee, for those tips and your insights as well. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.